I just finished a survey of the engine EJ&E 765 with a representative from the Hoosier Valley Railroad Museum. He's a lot of experience restoring old trains and cars and whatnot, and he had a lot of information to share. The biggest and most important observation is that when U.S. Steel restored this in 1992, it was donated in 62, 72, 82, 92, it was restored, and here it is 22, another 30 years later. But the 30-year restoration in 62 would have ameliorated the problem with insulation. He said that this front section was not insulated, but from behind the front section. So this was not, but starting here, there would have been insulation. You can see the clearance underneath here. There's like 3 inches of insulation on this whole thing. And that explains why the bolts back here are in such bad shape, especially here where the firebox was and there was all the heat. The insulation would have just been holding water, causing all the rust on this whole surface. So U.S. Steel removed all the insulation and blasted everything clean, and so the paint that's there is on top of the rusted surface and has made it last as long as it is. So the remediation at this point is just power wash the whole thing as best you can to get a nice clean, get as much rust off as possible, and then put another coat of paint on it. As far as other little items, this area is an area that's providing water leakage into the cab, so that would be a nice thing to fix up. He agreed, you really don't want people going into the cab, so putting a piece of wood here is a good thing to do. As far as cleaning out the coal car, the tender, there's a tree in there, and this whole portion is open to the elements because that's how you put the coal in. And then there's this auger here, and this channel. This is a great big tube all the way back that the coal would fall into and get rotated and pushed up into the firebox. So this is all, strong metal. So no wonder debris falls out of the sky, goes into the auger, and just sits there. So we got a tree growing. How you solve that problem? It says, you could burn some holes in here to let water drain, but even cleaning out the upper part is a problem. You can see these plates. Those plates are kind of welded down, and somehow or another one plate has got enough space for a tree to grow. But what you really need to do is remove those plates and with a shovel dig out that area, then burn some holes in the bottom. Then it all is just a free-flowing water system, and it's not a problem. But removing those plates is an issue. And otherwise, you're kind of looking at putting a roof over the whole coal car, the coal bin part of the car. The many other areas of rust, you can cover up with sheet metal if you'd want for cosmetic reasons, but there's no need to. He says really just clean it off. This is the coal ash tray under the firebox. You could patch these holes up if you want, but no particular need to. The most obvious areas of rust are around the steam valve and the steam cylinder, front and back. These things used to be insulated, but they've been cleaned out by U.S. Steel apparently. So even here, he said you could just take them off if you wanted, or just patch a piece of sheet metal over them. It's a lot bigger here. The front of this one has really got some damage, some rust. And this is the biggest one here. This whole thing is hollow. So, you know, you could just remove that. You could build, he said that's just a, you know, a big thin cup. You want to take that off and build a replacement, you could do that. And down here, same thing. It's all hollow. Take it off, put a little patch on it if you want, or just clean it and paint it. Coming back here, things are looking pretty good. Oh, here's it's just a metal cap. This is a that is a air filter for the compressors. There's a compressor unit, another compressor unit to fill up the compressed air to drive the brakes. But that's all, you know, if you want to patch it up, go ahead. Otherwise, not. This is a duplicate of that, so that is exactly the same as that. Like you can model it if you wanted. Other than that, paint it up, make it pretty, and we got a great showpiece.